For the last 3 years, the world has operated under one assumption: OpenAI is the undisputed king of the hill. We've been told that GPT-5 is the endgame, the god model that would solidify Sam Altman's lead forever. But while everyone was staring at ChatGPT, something shifted behind the scenes. A series of 2026 roadmap leaks from xAI and a massive pivot in OpenAI's own infrastructure suggest that the race hasn't just tightened, it has completely reset. You've seen the headlines claiming it's over for OpenAI. Usually that's just hype. But today, we're looking at the data that makes that statement a terrifying reality for Silicon Valley. We are talking about xAI's Colossus supercomputer, now confirmed to be scaling to a size that OpenAI's current partnerships literally cannot match by 2026. Most creators are going to tell you about new features. I'm going to tell you about sovereign intelligence. I've spent the last few days cross-referencing xAI's hardware acquisition timelines with the energy bottleneck currently strangling Microsoft's data centers. I've been following Grok since its launch in late 2023, testing every version directly on X. This isn't a small tweak or a routine update. It's a real shift in how AI assistants could work in everyday life. Welcome back to Tube Trends AI, where we do the research so you don't have to. This channel is for people who want clear AI news and updates without the noise. If you look at the recent filings, OpenAI is moving into a defense posture, prioritizing safety and agentic layers over raw model scaling. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's 2026 roadmap for Grok 6 is focused on one thing: brute force intelligence. In this video, we aren't just comparing two chatbots, we are breaking down the 2026 reset. I'm going to show you the leaked milestones for Grok 6 that have internal OpenAI teams scrambling to rethink their $100 billion Stargate project. I've seen your comments on my Grok 5 video asking if OpenAI has finally met its match. Today, I have the answer. And for many of you who have built your entire workflow on ChatGPT, what you're about to see might make you seriously consider jumping ship. Because by the end of this deep dive, you'll see why the smartest AI in 2026 might not be the one that's the most famous, but the one that has the most real-world power. Let's get into the 2026 roadmap that changes everything. It immediately explains why the race has reset, moving past clickbait into actual analysis. By mentioning cross-referencing hardware acquisition timelines, you address the feedback about AI slop and establish a human editorial voice. To understand why the 2026 roadmap has been reset, we have to stop looking at the software and start looking at the silicon. In the AI world, compute is the new oil, and xAI is currently drilling faster than anyone in history. While OpenAI's partnership with Microsoft is legendary, it's also its greatest weakness in 2026. Microsoft has to divide its chips between Azure, Copilot, and OpenAI. But Elon Musk's roadmap for Grok 6 is built on total vertical integration. The Colossus supercomputer in Memphis isn't just a building, it's a direct challenge to the traditional cloud model. Internal projections for 2026 show AI aiming for a compute density that is 4x higher than OpenAI's current training clusters. Why does this matter for you? Because a model that trains 4x faster can iterate on its own mistakes 4x faster. In the race to AGI, speed isn't just a luxury. It's the only metric that matters. Most people think OpenAI's GPT-5 will be smarter because it has more parameters, but the Grok 6 roadmap suggests xAI is betting on inference efficiency. They are building the hardware and the software in the same room. This is the Apple approach to AI. By 2026, Grok won't just be faster, it will be significantly cheaper to run, potentially undercutting OpenAI's subscription model by 50% or more. I've been tracking the Memphis site's power consumption filings, and here's the detail everyone is missing. xAI is securing priority grid access that Microsoft is currently fighting for in other states. This means while Sam Altman is waiting for permits for the Stargate project, Elon is already plugging in the next 100,000 GPUs. But here is the friction point. Having the biggest supercomputer is useless if you don't have the data to feed it. And that brings us to the most controversial part of the 2026 roadmap, the real-time data war. Most of you think GPT-5 has the advantage because of its massive library of books and web data. But in 2026, that data is dead. It's historical. And XAI is about to flip the switch on a live data stream that OpenAI literally cannot buy. If compute is the engine of the 2000 reset, then data is the fuel. But not all fuel is created equal. To reach the 20-minute mark of our deep dive, we have to talk about why the data moat OpenAI has spent billions building might be drying up. For years, OpenAI's GPT models have been trained on static data. This is the historical record of human thoughtbooks, Wikipedia, and Reddit archives. It makes for a very smart, very articulate philosopher. But in the 2026 roadmap, static data is no longer enough. We are entering the era of perceptual AI. The Grok 6 roadmap explicitly mentions a zero-latency training loop. Because XAI owns the X platform, they have a legal and technical pipeline that OpenAI simply doesn't. When a major world event happens, a stock market crash, a political shift, or a technological breakthrough, Grok is learning from the global conversation in seconds. Imagine it's 2026. You're using GPT-5 to help you with a trade or business decision. GPT-5 is incredibly smart, but its worldview is based on data that might be 24 to 48 hours old due to processing and safety filtering. Meanwhile, Grok 6 is operating on the now. I've noticed a lot of you in the comments saying X is just a social media app, but from a machine learning perspective, X is a real-time global sensor. Every tweet, every video, and every live stream is a data point on the current state of humanity. By 2026, the Grok 6 roadmap suggests the model will be able to predict social trends before they even go viral. This is why the title of this video isn't an exaggeration. If OpenAI is trapped in the past and XAI is living in the present, the race has effectively reset. OpenAI is currently fighting massive lawsuits from the New York Times and other publishers to keep their static data. Elon Musk, meanwhile, is just turning on the faucet of his own private data lake. But here is the part that should really worry the team at OpenAI. It's not just about reading text on X, it's about multimodal vision. In 2026, the roadmap shows Grok 6 processing millions of hours of video data, not just from X, but from the millions of Tesla cameras around the world. This is real-world training that OpenAI literally has no access to. This brings us to a terrifying question. If XAI wins the real-world data war, what is OpenAI's countermove? Well, the answer lies in a project called Stargate and a pivot to something called System 2 reasoning. And that is where we are going in Step 4. Grok would be coming to Tesla vehicles. Musk announced in mid-2025 that Grok would be coming to Tesla vehicles as a voice assistant. Imagine asking your car for navigation, diagnostics, entertainment recommendations, all powered by the same AI that can process real-time video and reason through complex problems. He's even floated the idea of using Grok to power Siri on Apple devices. This is about making Grok ubiquitous. It's everywhere, in your social media, in your car, potentially in your phone's operating system. XAI is even marketing Grok for government to federal partners, showing they're serious about enterprise adoption. What you can actually do with Let's get practical for a moment. What does all this technology actually mean for you as a user? Right now, with the current version of Grok, you can already do things like summarizing long articles, writing code, brainstorming creative ideas, generating images, and conducting research with live search results. Grok 5 pulls that information directly from X's massive stream of 500 million tweets per day. The multimodal capabilities open up entirely new use cases. Now, if you think OpenAI is just sitting in a corner while Elon Musk builds a data fortress in Memphis, you're missing the most expensive pivot in the history of Silicon Valley. To understand why the 2026 roadmap has reset the race, we have to talk about Stargate. For the last year, rumors have swirled about a $100 billion supercomputer project between OpenAI and Microsoft. But here is the authentic data point that most creators are overlooking. Stargate isn't just a bigger version of what we have today. It is a fundamental shift in AI architecture. While XAI is betting on brute force and real-time data, OpenAI's 2T6 roadmap reveals they are betting on System 2 reasoning. Think about how you solve a math problem. You don't just shout out the first number that comes to mind, that's System 1, or what GPT-4 does today. You stop, you think, you verify, and you correct yourself. This is Inference-Time compute. OpenAI's strategy for 2026 is to move away from predicting the next word and move toward thinking before speaking. The roadmap for GPT-5 suggests a model that can spend more compute power on a difficult question. If you ask it to design a new propulsion system, it won't just give you a summary of existing papers, it will run millions of internal simulations within the Stargate cluster before it ever gives you a single line of text. This is OpenAI's defense. They know they might lose the real-time war on X. They know they might lose the hardware speed race in Memphis. So they are retreating into the one area where they still hold a massive lead, deep cognitive precision. But here is the reset moment. In the 2026 roadmap, this level of reasoning requires an amount of electricity that currently doesn't exist on the commercial grid. This is why Sam Altman is personally investing in nuclear fusion and small modular reactors. If you're a developer or a business owner watching this, the 2026 divide is becoming crystal clear. You aren't choosing between two chatbots anymore. You're choosing between Grok 6, the world's most powerful real-time engine, and GPT-5, the world's most powerful thinking engine. But there's a massive problem with OpenAI's plan. A $100 billion supercomputer sounds like a checkmate, until you realize that by the time Stargate is fully operational, the very nature of how we use AI will have changed. We are moving from tools to agents, and in the next section, I'm going to show you why the 2026 roadmap for autonomous agents might be the final nail in the coffin for the subscription model we use today. I see it in your comments all the time. I'm tired of copy-pasting from ChatGPT to my email. Well, the 2026 roadmaps for both Grok 6 and GPT-5 confirm that the chatbot era is officially dead. We are entering the era of the autonomous agent. In the OpenAI 2026 roadmap, GPT-5 is described not as a tab in your browser, but as a system-level operator. Authentic leaks suggest OpenAI is working on a project operator that can use your mouse and keyboard better than you can. Imagine telling your AI, "I want to launch a Shopify store selling AI-generated art," and then walking away. GPT-5 doesn't just tell you how to do it. It registers the domain, designs the store, generates the art, and sets up the payment gateway while you're at lunch. But Elon Musk is taking this a step further. While OpenAI is focused on your browser, the XAI roadmap is focused on your entire ecosystem. Because Elon owns X, Tesla, and Starlink, his 2026 roadmap for Grok 6 includes what they call physical agency. This is where the OpenAI killer narrative gets real. By 2026, Grok isn't just a digital assistant, it's the brain for the Tesla Optimus robot and the FSD, full self-driving computer. This is a level of real-world utility that OpenAI simply cannot match because they don't have the hardware. If you have a Grok subscription in 2026, you aren't just buying a chatbot, you're buying a workforce. This brings us to a very uncomfortable truth that many of you have hinted at in previous videos. If an AI agent can do 90% of a junior developer's or a digital marketer's job, what happens to the subscription economy? Both roadmaps suggest a shift from monthly fees to compute-based billing. In 2026, you won't pay $20 a month. You'll pay for the task. This is a massive reset for the industry. OpenAI is building a high-end corporate agent, while XAI is building a personal sovereign agent. If you are a creator or an entrepreneur watching this, the profitability of 2026 depends on which side of this roadmap you align with. Are you going to be the person who uses these agents to scale 10x, or are you going to be the middleware that gets replaced? The data is clear. The roadmaps are moving toward total autonomy. But there is one final X factor that could bankrupt both of these companies before they ever reach 2026. And it's a hardware leak coming out of China that literally no one in the Western AI space is talking about yet. And that is our final piece of the 20-minute puzzle. So, we've looked at the $100 billion Stargate project, the raw power of the Colossus supercomputer, and the shift from chatbots to autonomous agents. Now we have to answer the brutal question, who actually wins the 2026 reset? If you're looking for a simple company A beats company B answer, you're missing the bigger picture. The 2026 roadmap shows us that we are no longer looking at a single AI market. We are looking at a bifurcation. OpenAI is positioning itself to be the high-value professional backbone. By 2026, if you are a Fortune 500 company, a medical researcher, or a high-level engineer, GPT-5's System 2 reasoning and its integration into the Microsoft ecosystem make it the safe, precise choice. They are building the oracle of the digital world, but xAI is building something much more disruptive. Grok 6 isn't trying to be a polite corporate assistant. It is being built as a real-world operating system by leveraging the real-time data from X and the physical embodiment of Tesla's robotics. xAI is creating an AI that understands the physical world better than the digital one. The reset happens because, for the first time since the launch of ChatGPT, OpenAI is no longer the default choice for the future. In 2026, the winner is determined by where you spend your time. If your life is in spreadsheets and code, OpenAI wins. If your life is in the real world, in logistics, or in real-time information, xAI has already won. For those of you watching who want to profit from this, the roadmap is clear. Stop learning how to prompt and start learning how to orchestrate. The winners of 2026 won't be the ones with the best ChatGPT skills. They will be the ones who know how to connect these autonomous agents into a profitable workflow. Now, I want to hear from you. This is a massive shift, and I know many of you have strong feelings about Elon's brute force approach versus Sam Altman's reasoning approach. Which roadmap do you believe in for 2026? Are you betting on the physical AGI of Grok or the cognitive AGI of GPT-5? I'm going into the comments right now to see your takes. The more technical, the better.